show I report from Berlin on the launch of the Nokia N93 multimedia smartphone. John Moss from iMate's here to explain all about push email and the iMate Advantage. We've got Windows hints and tips to do with Word and Excel templates and the Today screen, and I report on getting the most out of video recording on your Nokia N70 or N90. Now, I know the smartphone show is not a news show as such, but I couldn't resist bringing you some tidbits from Nokia's Open Studio event in Berlin the other day. They announced 3 new smartphones, the N72, which is a fairly unremarkable replacement for the N70, the 73, which is basically a super small camera phone, and the Nokia N93 was the one that really stood out for me. Having just been filming a section for the smartphone show in which I said in one of my attempted endings to the piece that within 18 months you'd be able to film DVD on your smartphone, I suddenly find the day after I say that to camera that Nokia released the N93. It's got full VGA, that's 640 by 480 pixel resolution at 30 frames a second. It's got professional Carl Zeiss optics, but it all boils down to the fact that you can shoot DVD on this thing, either via universal plug and play, getting the video to other devices in your living room, or via a bundled TV outlet, taking it into any conventional video or TV equipment. Away from multimedia, the N93 is a very capable Series 60 3rd edition device with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, it's 3G data of course. It's not going to appeal to everyone. This is very much a multimedia focused smartphone. It's not a communicator in the same sense as things like the HTC Universal, but for its breed it's the best in its class. Now, we've had guest reviewers before on the smartphone show, but this is something a bit different. 2 common issues in the smartphone world are, first of all, push email. What is it, how does it work, and is it really relevant? The second thing is in terms of the branding of all these different Windows mobile devices, basically made by the same company but with different value-added extras and certainly different badges. So with all of this in mind, I've invited John Moss from iMate, one of their directors in the UK, to come in and explain some of these issues. One quick warning, the very nature of demonstrating internet applications on smartphones right up close to a camcorder microphone does mean there's going to be some interference, so I apologise in advance.
One of the very interesting aspects of Windows Mobile is the new operating system called Windows Mobile 5, and that produces and gives the user some really nice new functions, and we'll be demonstrating some of those functions today. iMate as a company, we specialise in Windows Mobile. We only sell Windows Mobile devices, and we sell through 2 main routes to market. We sell through the home user space, roughly pretty much around the world, and we sell direct into large corporations. And for those large corporations, we design the phone specifically for them, and we reflash the phone to the requirements of that enterprise. For the consumer space, we try to make the phone work as reliably as possible in all the countries where we sell them. So for example in the UK, if you boot up a device, then you'll see the list of UK operators. So the devices are typically unlocked and they will work on any GSM or increasingly 3G mobile network. So here we see the standard Windows Mobile 5 Today screen on our iMate KJAM device. At the end of February, Microsoft released a new feature called MSFP, which stands for Messaging and Security Features Pack, and that added some very important new functionality into Windows Mobile 5 devices. And that included push email, and in fact there's a push email just received from Steve, which I can now just open, and here's the data for our meeting today. Hope you're well. That's very kind, Steve. In fact I am. Thank you for that. And that just demonstrates how push email works. So we haven't configured Active Sync to periodically poll the Microsoft Exchange server. We have it set up so any new emails arriving into the Exchange server get pushed immediately down to the Windows Mobile device. So push email to the business user and to the home user means that the device is constantly waiting to receive any new incoming emails. That means that the device in your pocket, you take it out, and it's always up to date with your inbox in there. Some of the other features of MSFP are the ability to actually compress the email. So the data which gets sent from the Microsoft Exchange server to the Windows Mobile device is compressed. It's a zip function. And that means that you're not using as much GPRS data as you would be if there was no compression in there. Some of the other interesting features from a business point of view purely is that the Exchange server can enforce some security policies on the device, and the user has to accept and agree to those security policies before he's allowed to synchronize his email. So as an example, the IT department can enforce the use of a PIN code on the device, which means that the device then has to have a PIN code on there. So if the user then loses the device, then at least the employer knows that, that device has the PIN code on. A final very important security feature with MSFP is the ability to do a remote wipe from the Exchange server. So that means that if the employee loses the device, leaves it in the pub or whatever, then he can phone up his IT department, who can log into the Microsoft Exchange server in the office and send a wipe command to the device, and that turns the device back to the factory defaults, which means that all the sensitive information is completely secure.
John, is push email important to home users and self-employed people, or is it purely for businesses?
I think it's applicable to both parties equally. People always need to be up to date with email, and they want to make sure that the emails that they receive are instantaneous, really.
Is it technically viable for a home user in terms of, because they won't have Microsoft Exchange, will they?
That's right. Push email does have a prerequisite of using Microsoft Exchange server, and one of the offerings that iMate gives is actually a free hosted email service. So with each iMate device, you have the ability to, after registering on our Club iMate portal, which also gives you free 24/7 support, you automatically get a free email address which the device is pre-configured for. And it's a very easy job then just to enter your username and password on the device, and then you're automatically configured then for your free email account.
Okay.
As well as a range of online games, we also have a suite of data connectivity and support tools. One of these is called iMate OneView, and I'd just like to give you a quick demonstration of that now. iMate OneView is a piece of software which resides on your Windows mobile device and also on your PC back at the office or at home. When logged into both, we have the ability to exchange files from one to the other, irrespective of where the device is in the world. So if I scroll down through what then becomes my super large file explorer, I have files which are on the desktop of my PC, and also some files which are on my device, indicated by the icon on the left. A third intermediary is the Vault, and I have the ability to upload files to the Vault if I want to switch my device or my PC off, so I still have connectivity via the other leg. So as an example, I have an Excel spreadsheet which was here on my PC, and I also uploaded to the Vault, which is here, a new Excel spreadsheet. So if I want to access that, I can simply scroll down and it will then connect via the internet over a secure HTTPS connection, and I can download that to my device over GPRS. So what you can see now is the file downloading from the Vault to the KJAM, and when it's completed we'll see there's a new version which is shown as being available on the KJAM device with the KJAM icon showing just next to it. In fact, if I go into File Explorer, I should be able to see a new spreadsheet which has now appeared here in my directory. And if I just zoom out a little bit, then this is just a quick illustration. Here's an Excel spreadsheet displayed emailed from a PC, created in a PC, and viewed and editable on our Windows mobile device here. So I can here go in and change one of these numbers, and that will update the tables and update the document. One of the powerful features of OneView is that you can define who your group of workers are, and that means that you can then set up a single shared area for everyone to send and exchange files. So that means that a field force of sales guys could all have access to those same files on that shared area.
So I hope that's given you a flavour for what iMate devices can do. We have a range of Windows mobile devices which are unlocked, and we have free 24/7 support to help you get those devices working on your local GSM network, wherever you may be. Thanks very much.
You really cannot tell when you're going to drop your PDA or smartphone, so a good case is absolutely essential. Thanks to the folks at ProPorter for sponsoring Smartphone Show number 8. Here's a good example of one of their Alu leather cases, a sheet of aluminium encased in leather to protect the screen, and most of their designs mean you can use the smartphone in situ. Now, in previous smartphone shows, we've concentrated rather for our hints and tips sections on the smaller candy bar Windows mobile smartphones. I'd like to show you some bits and pieces with the HTC Universal, the big clamshell swivel screened keyboarded version of Windows Mobile. Let's start with the fact that because it's a full communicator and a full keyboard, Microsoft do ship the full version of Pocket Word. Now, it's not quite Microsoft Word on the desktop, but there's still quite a lot of functionality there, and you can do most of the things you'd really want to do in terms of sending out invoices and letters and reports. Here, for example, I've started with a business letter, a template that I might want to reuse later on. By using templates like this, you really can save a lot of time. If you've set up either on the desktop or on the handheld, things you're going to use often, you can use Menu, File, Save As. Let's give it a name. I don't know, Template 23, and tap on Save. Now, having done that, you can then either edit the document and add in your text for the current session, and then use Menu, File, Save As, and give it a different name for onward transmission by email or to the desktop. Or another handy way of doing this, to reuse a template that you've already created, is to use the standard document list that comes up when you start Word Mobile. Find your template, tap and hold, and use Create Copy. Instantly a copy's made, ready for your use, and you're not going to start messing up the original by mistake. Even so, the file names are rather similar by default, so it's always a good idea to tap and hold again and give it a new name. I don't know, Work 700 or whatever you want to call it, and then tap on OK, and you've now got a document with the full contents of your template under a new name, and you've done it all from the main document selection screen. You won't be surprised to know that you can do exactly the same thing with Excel Mobile, again making templates or files that you're going to reuse sections of. Again, File, Save As, give it a name. Whatever, tap on Save, and again the same trick can be used in the Excel Mobile document list, as long as you're in the right folder. It does pay to keep most of your documents in the same default folder if you can. It saves them getting lost. Again, tap and hold, Create Copy, tap and hold, rename if you need to, and then you can tap to open it, safe in the knowledge that you're not messing up your original. I mentioned folders earlier. Tapping on the folder list at top left in any of these file lists in Word and Excel give you the full folder structure on your device. It does pay to stick to the default folder wherever possible. You're not going to create hundreds of thousands of documents on a handheld device, so stick to the main My Documents area if you possibly can. So here we are on a fairly overcast British spring evening with some tips on video recording with the Nokia N70 and N90, the only two smartphones with anywhere decent video recording capability, both giving pretty decent results even on a full-size television, albeit at 15 frames a second. First of all, I would say don't try to use the normal orientation. Don't get fancy with portrait. It seems very arty and it seems like you'll get a better picture, but it's such a hassle having to rotate just specific sections of your footage in software on the PC later on. It's a real hassle. Stick to up is up. It's simple, it's safe, and it'll be a lot quicker in the long run. In other words, stick to traditional 4:3 rather than 3:4 or some other weird angle. Light's everything with recording. The light's not too bad now, but if you can shoot in sunlight, it will dramatically transform your footage. Here's some footage I took earlier of my daughter and her friend running around in sunshine, and the colours and the detail are incredible considering I'm shooting it on a smartphone. Light means contrast, it means detail, it means a vividness to the colours. Light is everything. Do edit your clips on the fly if you can. By this I mean pause or stop the filming if you're aware that your moment with the child or the object, the subject, is about to end. Don't leave it to the last minute and then have to worry about chopping a bit off at the end. And if you can anticipate something starting again, then try to catch the moments and edit as you go. It means less memory space wasted, it means less time wasted, and it means less confusion. When you're filming, try to keep the camera as steady as possible. The view on the viewfinder may seem smooth enough, but the final footage will be terrible if you're walking up and down and wandering around. don't try and do ambitious pans around a scene. It may seem smooth to you on the viewfinder, but again at 15 frames a second the final footage will be horrible. Much better to pause your footage, move to the next angle, the next scene, and then resume. You'll get a pre-edited, much smoother transition, and it will look more professional. I'm back with some more Windows Mobile hints and tips here again on the HTC Universal, although this applies to most of the Windows Mobile 5 devices in pretty much the same way. In the Today screen, made famous by Microsoft of course, with shortcuts to programs, own information, summary of messaging, tasks and appointments and so on, it's pretty easy to take this for granted and to stick with the defaults. And again, by tapping on Start, most people just stick with the default shortcuts here. I never change them, but there's quite a lot you can do to change this and make it much more efficient to suit the way you work. I've got in here into settings, and you'll see there's two separate icons that are relevant here in Windows Mobile 5. Tap on menus and you can select the programs that appear in this initial list when you tap on the start icon. So for example, let's say we didn't want the camera there, but we did want Excel. That's one of our most used programs. Tap on that, and again you can go down the list, choose the ones you really want to appear there. Anything that doesn't appear ticked here will just appear in your standard program list, so you won't lose it. And tap on OK when done. Now we'll tap on the Start button and you see Excel Mobile has appeared there. And even in the landscape mode, here you can fit on 5 or 6 of your favourite programs, not to mention the ones you've already got at the top of the screen as the most used program or most recently used programs with their shortcuts. So between the two banks of shortcuts, most things you're going to want to do on your Windows mobile device will be only one tap away. The other icon, of course, under settings is Today. There you can change the theme. That's just obviously the background image and the appearance of the Today screen. More interestingly, if you tap on the Items tab, you'll see you can actually customize the information that's going to appear. For example, I don't really use tasks much on my handheld, so I'm going to uncheck that, and I don't really want owner info. Again, it's something I'd rather have new information, so I do want the date and the network confirmation. So let's go with that. I'm going to increase the Today timeout to show me stuff that's happening right up the next 12 hours or so, and tap on OK. Now if we go to the Today screen, you can see a simplified thing with no tasks, no owner information, and if I had enough appointments loaded onto this device, you then see everything coming up in the next 12 hours. And again, you can really customize this screen to make it work how you want it to.